The Black.Fat.Femme podcast is a production of iHeartRadio and DoctorJonPaul, LLC. Now, hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Black.Fat.Femme podcast where all the intersections of identity are celebrated. I am one of your hosts, John, also known as DoctorJonPaul, and today I'm just here to remind you that there is no sex in the champagne room. There's no sex in the champagne room. No sex in the champagne room. That might be a little bit before your time, Joho. Maybe our guests might know a little bit about it. But Joho, how you doing, sis?
I just want to know, like, what does that mean? Where was that from?
Hey, Chris Rock had an actual like comedy album, and he had a couple of songs on that comedy album. And one of the popular songs from said comedy album is "No Sex in the Champagne Room." And I was too young to really even know what a champagne room was, but I just remember liking that song. And so randomly, I just started singing it when I was cleaning my house this week. And I just was like, let me just go ahead and open the show by singing "No Sex in the Champagne Room." So for those of you you might know the song, you can go ahead and sing along with me. But if you don't, go ahead and Google it.
That makes sense. Okay, thank you. See, now you said that, I'm like, oh, I immediately knew what champagne room was.
Yes,
okay, that makes perfect sense.
Yes.
Wow.
There's no sex in the champagne room.
Explaining it to me. Okay,
But how are you?
I'm good. It's Joho or Jordan the beige baddie around these parts, and I'm 30 now, which is
wild. You are
that
30. You are.
That is crazy. And I want to kick off 30 by asking Ryan Murphy about his show 911. And I have to ask Ryan, why are you doing Angela Bassett like this?
Yeah.
Miss Mamas is facing death on literally every moving vehicle she gets in. Every single one. Cruise ship,
can't catch
plane,
a break.
Car, scooter, bicycle. Can she? And then, as we talked about earlier, she can't leave. I was like, can she leave her house? But she can't even be at home.
Nope.
Because her house catches on fire.
Yep, last season. So for those of you who have not watched 911, the end of last season, her house burned down. So at this point, I don't even know where they live. Have they even said this season where Angela lives?
So they showed them at one point. I think they have like an apartment somewhere or something because they're looking to buy a new house in season 1. But it goes by so quick. But so like, sad. Why must you torment this black woman like that? Like, Angela Bassett has done nothing wrong.
Nope.
Why are we doing like this? Is the epitome of God gives her the strongest soldiers the hardest battles.
Yeah,
I think she's done.
Yeah,
Athena is done. She's like, God, I fought my battles. I have won the wars.
And the gag is that this is all over some fucking bees. Like the whole
girl,
the 3-part about some fucking
outlandish. I said never in my life I thought bees would be this much of a menace. I mean, part of me are like, where do you even get a container of 1 million killer bees? Why are you transporting killer bees around the state? That shows what like when we had that year, was it like the year of the murder, like what they're called, like the murder hornets?
Yeah.
I said, girl, no, leave that. Honestly, listen, I love nature. But killer bees gotta go.
Yeah.
Gotta go. And there's no way I'm doing this. So that 3-part premiere was a wild.
It was a lot. It was a lot.
And I just have to say, Jennifer Love Hewitt, Miss Thing can act.
She can.
Miss Thing can act. She acts down every day in that little call center.
And she be crying on cue.
She be girl. And I'm like, are you the only one that has the stress calls like this? Everybody else's calls seem
right. Everybody else's calls seem so normal. It's like
your calls.
Yes. Her. Yeah.
I have to fly a plane by myself somewhere. Girl, what?
Yeah. The happenstance on that show is crazy, but insane. I should not say crazy, but it's insane. The happenstance happens on the show, and it looks like our guest really wants to get in it. So I'm gonna go ahead and intro our guest because I know that they have thoughts too. We are back again with one of my favorite queens, who I will say I did add a dedication to my book to, because they will always be that queen in my eye. They is one of my favorite queens. You have seen them on RuPaul's Drag Race, and you can catch her zipping down the 10 and the 15 freeway in Southern California, girl, because Mama's gonna be in LA. She gonna be in Palm Springs. She gonna be in San Diego, turning the stage, being on somebody's review. And I love to see her working, because you definitely need to, just give Mama her things, because she deserves them all. Please welcome back my favorite queen, our favorite queen to the show, Mayhem Miller. Come on in here, girl, and give us are you a 911 girly too?
Okay, look, I want to be, but when with my television, it can't get too crazy for me.
Okay.
It has to be realistic, and I've seen some like previews that I'm like,
It felt
no,
vintage.
this is not for me.
You said absolutely not. Get somebody
The
else to
very
do
first
it.
episode was
and
like
then
a shark came out to the freeway, and I was like, "Why is there a shark on the freeway?" Like,
Yeah.
it's just it's far
I
fetched.
I can't. And then anytime that Ryan Murphy's name is attached to something, I'm already like skeptical.
Absolutely
I'm
fair.
like,
Trauma.
Absolutely fair. There are a
Trauma.
lot of people in this world who do not do Ryan Murphy, and I get it. I definitely get it, and I totally understand why. So,
now I'll
What
take
you
a check if he wants to
right,
cast the girl
fair.
in something. I will
listen?
go.
Listen,
That is fair.
listen.
Very fair.
Okay, I'm saying one of my friends last night was saying that they just started watching the Menendez brothers, and
Yeah.
they're like, I really can't stand Ryan Murphy, but I am also sat and seated for the show.
T and
Like, I
T.
was like,
T. It's
I
good television.
cannot, like, they're like I was like, do you like it? And he was like, I wouldn't say I enjoy the show,
It's camp in a good way.
but I'm not moving from my couch when the
Right.
show comes
I
on.
did
And
finish
I'm
it.
like,
I did
okay.
I
finish
was
it.
the same. I was like, okay. I watched the first episode and I said, I have to see it through. I
I'm like,
have to see it
I'm
through.
committed now to
Mhm.
I'm committed to the
I
cause.
made it through 60 minutes. Let's keep going for the next 7 more
And
episodes.
and the thing about that show was the first 2 episodes weren't that great. It was episode 3 that like got me.
Ooh,
I was
wait,
like, after episode 3, I was like, oh, I'm sold.
was it 3 or 5?
5 was the one that everyone's been raving about because that's the one with the long what do you call that? Monologue.
Yeah,
It has the
the
monologue
long
in it.
monologue that
Mhm.
Cooper did,
Yeah.
I think is probably the best work I've seen from Hollywood
Yeah.
all year long.
I agree. There's no
I was
disagreements.
blown away, in tears, just sobbing. I was like, wow, this is some powerful work right
Mhm.
here.
Hot takes.
Mhm.
I have to watch that that clip. I won't watch the show, but I will watch that clip.
Yeah,
Oh, it's not a clip.
it's
It's an
you
episode
it is a whole episode and it is a full monologue of the camera just
of
being
just him talking.
just him talking and the woman asking questions as he's talking. It's very reminiscent of there's a film and I don't know the name of the film. I offhand there's a film that this man it's a scary it's a scary film of a man and we don't know if he's possessed or not, and it takes from that. There's this man who is he's basically a police officer and he's going in, he's trying to get a man to confess about a killing, and he's basically saying I am the devil, and it takes from that. It's very much the whole film is just kind of
Ooh.
set on this man who everyone thinks is truly possessed, and there's a lot of monologue in it, and it's done. It's probably one of the best films. If I can figure out the name of it, I will shout it out in this episode. But there is a film very much like that, and I said
It's
whoever
scary.
wrote that show, it got inspiration from that film. A go off.
Ooh, okay.
Mhm.
Interesting.
That was a scary movie.
Yeah, it's
Like
a scary
horror?
movie. It came
Oh
out, I
yeah,
think,
no.
last year.
Okay,
And
good.
it was very it's very it's giving not Halloween stab murder. It's giving spooky dooky insidious. Is there something in the room with me or not?
Oh no
Okay.
no no yeah no no no. no.
Well,
Mayhem said get somebody
well,
else to do it.
on the
Uh-uh.
topic of spooky dookie,
Mhm.
Honey, I would have to
we
get
gonna
all
have
this
to.
out and just start burning it.
She's been let me
Mayhem
stage
said
the
not me.
entire. She wants to be staging
Mm-mm.
the entire episode. Well, we gotta kick off our show like we usually do around these parts and give Miss Tisha Campbell her flowers with our
Amen.
Still Here segment. And this is where we put our hands out, bounce our titties, and
Bounce
light some sage for ourselves. So this week on the show, as we keep the train moving, and we are celebrating LGBTQ plus History Month in October, because October is a month for us.
Amen.
Although it's about us year round, we want to ask a question: if we can go back in time and relive any drag moment, performance or not, or like runway moment, or just a drag moment for yourself you've experienced, and I know that you've experienced in your life, which one would it be and why? Now, for me, I was thinking, because I thought about this recently, because I'm looking for inspiration for my birthday party,
Mhm.
and like for the outfit, and I think a lot about the episode in Drag Race where they had that night of 1,000 trains.
Yeah.
And Simone came out with that do-rag train.
Mhm.
Like it was iconic.
So
Like
black.
it was so good. It was so incredibly black.
Yes.
And such a blackness as high fashion. And I
Mhm.
lived, and it inspired me because as I'm thinking of an outfit for my birthday, I'm like, would I do a do-rag train?
You should.
Ooh,
Like,
you should.
I should. I think this week I'm gonna get some braids done.
Good.
I'm gonna do a do-rag train and then reveal
Yes.
the braids.
Do the braids.
It's a whole moment that I was
You
like,
should
this is
do
what
the
I'm-
non-binary colors in your braids.
Oh,
Yes, that's a look too. That's a thought.
Ooh,
Do that.
Okay, bitch.
Mhm.
Okay.
And
Yes, you better do rag. Go
Where's
up.
this reveal gonna be at? Because I think I need to be there as well.
Come on down. They can take my spot because I'm in Chicago. I can't make it. So
Chicago.
Yes, I got to be in Chicago for work.
Bitch, she's from Chicago.
But yes, the do-rag train is definitely. I'm here for
man,
it.
how about you? What's your moment? Your moment.
Oh my gosh, there's so many moments I would want to go revisit. Like off the top of my head, I would like to go back to my first performance that I ever did. I want to go back to that moment because I vaguely remember that night, but I want to relive that night. And now knowing the person that I am today, with the information that I have, like how would I attack the stage then, knowing who I am now?
Yeah,
because I know I burnt the stage down, but I'm like, ooh, I wonder if I would still do everything the same, and I don't know, because like now I'm just such a seasoned performer, so I'm not. I have no inhibitions. I'm just like, okay, I wonder if that young self would still be the same as I am now.
I'm not going to even hold you. I'm getting chills thinking about it. This is my all-time favorite performance from you. If you have not seen Mayhem perform, you are doing yourself a true disservice, but I'm going to always shout this performance out because it will always be my favorite all-time performance. When I said, this bitch is bad, she did Take Over Control, and she had on these like headlamps on her titties, and they were lit up
on
when you
lamplight
came
titties,
out, and all we saw was your titties being lit up by the lights, and then your eyes were glowing. My God, when I tell you, that's when I said that girl is something else. But that is, in my mind, that's one of my all-time favorite Mayhem performances.
I remember that. Oh my gosh.
Yes. I'm baby. Like I said, I am not new to this. I am true to this. I know performances, honey.
Oh my gosh, I've not thought about that in a long time. Like
that is one of my all-time favorite.
And I missed that outfit. I'm like sitting in my mind, like, wait, where is it?
Yes, but that is one of my favorites. I wish I could go back to that moment. But I also want to add too. So I specifically put this one in because I said this one lives in my lexicon of drag performances. Dita Ritz versus the Princess. This will be Natalie Cole. Dita just she knew that she knew she had to go out with a bang, and she just was like, I'm not gonna leave this stage by not showing y'all what I have to bring to drag. And she mopped the floor with that performance, and it was just iconic. Like, bills were paid, she let the camera have it. It was Natalie Cole. I think that was the last time we saw Natalie Cole on TV, because Natalie Cole passed away like right after that performance. And it lives in my mind rent free as one of the best performances on the show. And then I also say too, the one when Raven and Juju B couldn't stop crying because they thought they had to send each other home, and then RuPaul was like, both of y'all get to stay. And they was crying for no reason.
Had them a mess,
honey.
Like,
they was crying like they was being told that they was losing their rights. It was something. It was something.
I crack up when I see the tears, honey, on that show.
Because I'm like, it's really like, no shade, but it's like, girl, it's really not that deep. But it is. I understand it's money, and I understand it's performance, and it's a show. And
I feel like it was that deep back then. Today, I'm like, girl, these tears, trash. Like fake. but back then, I'm like, but today I'm like, girl, that is for the production, and we know it.
Yes.
But back then, the tears, like that was good TV. The tears were real.
That was before girls started going in and self-producing themselves.
Right. Yes.
It was very genuine then. So like now,
there was so much drama. Like, I think often when when Raven came for Mimi on First, I could not believe.
Yeah, that was
Mimi on
real.
First
That
had
was
more fans. Don't
real.
come from my fans.
Yes.
From the looks of it, you don't have many. I said,
Yeah.
The drama was real at that point in time. Ma'am, I love that you said the first time you did drag, because I also add, I also say for myself, I also say I want to relive that moment, because the first time I did drag, there was a queen who told me that I would not make a good drag queen.
Oh.
And she had came from me because yes, I had worn a wedge, and I realize now that wedge is not the best. It was my first time, so I wore a wedge. And I said, "Girl, I'm gonna wear a
saw
wedge."
the stockings and they were ripped.
And they were
ripped.
and they were
I saw the
ripped.
stockings and they were ripped.
But she saw the wedge and she was like, "You can't dance in those. It won't work.
It won't work.
It won't work." And when I tell you, I turned
those.
that performance out like the rent was fucking due.
Yeah.
And she stood there the entire time like
judging you.
Mouth agape. No,
Yes.
she was gagged because that bitch could not even walk in her shoes. That bitch had to tiptoe herself, and she was out here shaking in her little 6-inch pumps. And I said, "Girl, this wedge was giving you run for your money, bitch." Now I want a little moment where I got off that stage and I walked right by her and said, "Wow, that wedge did a lot, didn't it?" And she said,
"The wedge held up. The wedge healed up." Now my question is, before we go to commercial, I'm gonna need names, because I feel like I have a feeling I know where this happened, and I feel like I feel like I might know the person who threw that shade, but I'm not gonna say it on the air because we're a little too global now.
It was before we knew each other.
Okay,
and
okay.
At that performance, I had not done a wedge, bitch. I had done a thigh-high boot. Okay, she had heels on, and she still ate. No, I was clocked.
You did eat.
I was clocked for having a beard.
Yes.
And when I performed, I came back and she said, "That was good."
Yeah, good. Good.
The beard ate. Thank you very much.
Yes.
People were gagged for the beard, so people don't come
And
for
now
me,
it's a
bitch.
thing. Now bearded drag queens are definitely
now
a
it's a
thing,
thing.
and I love it.
Listen, I'm not saying that I'm a trendsetter, but I'm not saying I'm a trendsetter.
No,
okay?
and you are right. You are so right. You are so
Points
right.
have been made. Anyways, y'all, we gotta take a quick break. I'm out as in a full way too much, but that's how we do on the show.
Right.
We gotta get some singles for Mayhem. When we come back, we'll dive right into the category of the week. More in a bit.
All right, y'all. So this week, I really wanted to dive into something on the show because we have mentioned it, but and some of our listeners have mentioned it to us too. They're like, when are you actually going to do an episode where you like dive into the true ness of Paris is Burning? And so I said, we're in LGBTQ History Month. We haven't really done a whole episode where we really dig into it. And so instead of us kind of doing a built up of where we talk about the film, for point by point by point, I said, why don't we kind of talk about how the film has, in the sense of history and in the ways that it has encouraged us as Black and queer people, and just thinking about queer Black cinema, right? Like the importance that this film has, and then bring in our guest Mayhem to talk about how the film has impacted them and their drag and the way that they see themselves. And so it's just going to be a real kiki around the film, kind of keeping the film at the center of the conversation. And so what I wanted to ask that we can kind of start off with is thinking about Paris is Burning as a film, thinking about Paris is Burning being a Black queer film and queer cinema. I wanted to ask in the idea of history, how, kind of starting with both of you, and either one of you can kind of start. I would really, and then also too, there's a kind of a personal thing. Y'all know I love queer cinema, and you know that I'm gonna critique it the house down boots anytime I get a chance. But I wanted to kind of start, and again, either one of you can start, but I would love to kind of know, the first question that I have is before we get into the show in itself, why do you both feel like Paris is Burning continues to always come up when we talk about iconic, timeless Black LGBTQ cinema?
Who wants it?
Please, you're a guest.
Go ahead, you're the guest. You can start first, baby.
You know what? I think why it's still relevant to this day, and why it's such a phenomenal piece of art is because it gave us a peekaboo of a culture that no one knew anything about.
Yeah.
And there were so many gems that came from it. The language, the style, the culture, just all of it. It just was such a masterpiece, and I think it just blows people's minds every time they see it or they learn about it. Because it was such an underground scene. Like no one knew unless you
You
knew.
knew. Yeah,
So
yeah. That's so real.
I remember when I first saw it, it blew my mind, and I was just like, "Oh, I'm moving to New York."
Yes.
Oh, I'm moving to New York,
Yeah.
honey. I'm about to become a part of somebody's
Mm,
family, honey. I'm
mhm.
going to a ball. It's just because I never knew any of that existed,
Yeah.
never. Because here, growing up in the little armpit of America, Riverside, we didn't have none of that.
Right.
So
Right.
The armpit of
It's
America.
true. We really are.
Wait, did I just say that right? The armpit of America.
Yeah. We are in the
I
middle
like
of
you.
Oh my
nowhere.
god.
It was rare to see, gay and queer people
Mm-hmm.
walking around here, let alone of color.
Right.
So, it just was something that I was just mind blown by. I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, oh my gosh, like I want to know more, and I want to
Mm,
be a part of this.
Yeah.
I love this. I love this. First, I'll just say, if anyone hears in the background, my cat is running amok right now.
Mine was
So
doing so
Miss
earlier.
Girl is out here running across these fucking tables, knocking shit down, and running away. Girl, get together. You're embarrassing me. Daddy's working. Oh my god, which is crazy. So what? So I was gonna say, I think I think there was a rawness, there's a rawness to it that made the film, right? Like I think right, to Mayhem's point, there was nothing like it before for people. Um, it like it was something that people never thought about,
Right.
that people experience like in this way, right? Because like this came out
It was
in 90,
88.
right? In the 90s or 80s.
It was 88.
I
Okay,
think it was
88. So
late 80s.
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Late
so you know
80s.
what, late 80s, right? On and they're in the midst of the AIDS crisis still. So it's like things that people are seeing in an ancillary way. Like they're seeing the impact of these things, the queer community is becoming more and more like to the front of stuff, but not for celebration of joy. It's coming up for AIDS crisis, like trans folks on the streets, um sex workers, but no one's like really understanding what this community is.
Right.
So this was like a really interesting chance that someone took to say, I want to show who these folks really are and like give them a chance to to tell their own truth. So I think there's a rawness to it that like really did what other documentaries like just have not done, like to follow a group of folks who live at this margin of the world and society and carve out so much joy and fierceness for themselves. And it's also like people don't understand, like it's also so grandiose, right?
It
Like no
was.
one
It was.
envisioned that you would go into this like this like random ballroom banquet room in this random place in Harlem or something, and you would see dozens of people dressed to the nines in couture, in realness,
Mm-hmm.
like giving you face, giving you body, giving you siren. Like no one thought that you would see all this, and so I think that was a gag. And also, it gave us so many like it was what gave us the language, right? To man's point, like you wouldn't have never learned shade without Miss Girl telling you what shade was.
Right.
Never
Pamela Beja saying, "Ha, suffer!" Like just
Oh,
suffer.
and I say
just
that
saying some of
often.
the
I
stuff,
say that
stuff
often.
like, "Girl, I
Girls
live."
suffer.
I think a lot about Venus extravaganza when she said which says like she said something that was like people call us monsters or gross, but I think we're the most gorgeous special things on earth. And you see her saying like you also realize that these folks have dreams, right? Like Venus is in her bedroom saying, I like I want a lot of people things. I want a house. I want my name to be a household product, right?
Mm-hmm.
You hear today Tiana Taylor does an homage to that in WTP, right? Like it gives us so much that we have built off of today. So many quotes. Where else would you have learned opulence? You own everything. Where
Yeah.
else would you have where you have
Opulence.
heard why you gagging? She brings into every ball. Like
Yeah.
it's so much that we use today, and so I think it made it timeless because we use a language today still, and also like the lens of community and love and care and support that you saw in that film
Mm-hmm.
it's still what people moves people today. It's still what we have today. It's still what we want and aspire for, right? Like ballroom has never gone out of style, and it's been interesting because it became more mainstream, right? Like that period of time where Legendary was on HBO and people were watching that show. Like it became more mainstream, and then people walked it back, but like now it's kind of like the cat's out of the bag, right? Like now everyone knows about ballroom and drag in some capacity, and Paris is Burning really helped us know it and see it more.
Yeah, I love both of you mentioning the timelessness of it, and as the only thing that really when I got from both of you as I was listening is this idea of like how you put photos up on your wall, or growing up for us as queer folks, like we didn't really have, and I think that's why I will always hold Paris is Burning as being one of my favorite films, because we didn't have people that we could aspire to, right? And it was very rare for us as queer people, specifically Black queer people, right? And when you saw Pepper LaBeija walk into a room, or when you saw, Venus walk in, and there's this embodiment of positivity and this embodiment of strength, it gave us kind of this light of, oh, I could be a bad bitch too. And I think that was the thing for me that really stuck out in the film, is this notion of there are these people creating community, but also they're creating a sense of purpose for people that honestly, like Mayhem, to your point, right? As much as New York and Harlem and all these different places in that area probably had a lot of queer spaces, I'm sure even at that time there were still a lot of Black queer people who felt like they didn't belong. And so I think that for me is why that film is so important. It's because it was showing a sense of belonging. So I did want to ask this question. Now, as much as people talk about how great the film is, there has been a lot of drama around the film. I don't know where this person is. Jenny Livingston, we speak your name. I don't know where you are, baby. But I do know that Mama has caught some heat in the last couple of years.
She's caught strays. She's caught quite a few strays for this work.
Yes, she has, throughout the history of the film. And specifically thinking about what she did do, what she didn't do. There are a lot of folks who said that Jenny basically capitalized off of ballroom and then took off and basically left us in the dust. I don't know the full schematics of everything that happened around the film, but even now, down to the idea that the rights of the film are just kind of up in the air, like no one really owns the rights of the film anymore, and it can be shown anywhere. Pretty much anyone can do anything with it. There's a lot to be said around that. But I did want to ask, and Mayhem, we can start with you, and then Joho, you can add in your thoughts too as well. Now that we know what we know about the film and what the focus might be, how do you think maybe like how do we go forward in engaging this film with the babies now who seem to not really know? Because I work with queer kids, and when I bring it up, they're like, I don't know what that is. And so how do we like encourage them to watch the doc? Right. How do we encourage them to watch the doc? But also to keep in mind too, like, why do we need to continue to keep pushing this notion around like these babies need to know their LGBTQ history?
It blows my mind that these newer generations have no sense of no sense of community, for one, and no longing for wanting to know your history. Like I just don't get it. For me, and I think I guess it is a generational thing, because I think because of my generation and those that came before me, we didn't have the representation, we didn't have the rights, we were living in bubbles and in shadows. And so when a movie like Queer, no, I was gonna say a movie like Queer as Folk, but like Paris is Burning, when we were exposed to that, it was like, wow, we see a reflection of ourselves.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I want to dive deeper into this. I now feel a part of something, or want to be. These newer kids, I mean, they
lost.
they don't know, and it's so sad, because I'm like, there's so much good work out there that they need to know. And I was obsessed as a youth when I was able to get my own Blockbuster card, my own Hollywood video card. Every Friday I would go to either one of those video stores and go to the art section.
Yeah, the Criterion.
And that's where I would find Paris is Burning and all the other queer films that were there. And I swear, if they could go back in their records, they would see that I was renting these things every weekend, and I was just I was just like engulfed in all of it because it was all I had was those movies, and until I was I was able to go out into the world and find it for myself in person.
Yeah.
So I just wish these kids would just like, do the work, do the homework, and find out more about where you come from and those who came before you, and why it's important to know your history so you don't have to repeat it.
Yeah. Well, not even that too. I will say, like, so this whole idea of like people using how I saw something earlier today on social about it. The folks saying it's Gen Z slang or it's alpha, Gen Alpha slang, right? And it's like, baby, that's not slang. That came from the ball. Like that came from the ballrooms, right? That came from certain houses. That came from certain house and mothers and different people. And so it's like you can't, I think that's been the biggest thing that I've been struggling with as we talk about, LGBTQ history. It's like we're getting, and I think part of it is also my age, because I mean I'm up in my 40s now, or I'm getting towards my 40s, and I'm very much like, these kids, they don't know. But it's like, yeah, social media has really gotten away from this idea of like, before you there was something else. Like, you're not the creator of this. This is something that has morphed or become more or has grown. And so it's like you can't, especially too, and I'm saying this for white folks who don't engage black queer culture the way that they should. I'm not here to guilt you, but what I'm saying is, if you want to be a part, you got to do the work to be a part. And that's what I think that's been my biggest qualm, is that there are a lot of people who want to be a part, but they don't want to do the work to be a part, if that makes sense. So
I'm thinking a lot about, so John, I really appreciate your question. And as Mayhem was speaking, I was also thinking a bit more, even more about my answer before about like what made it so timeless. And I also think it made it timeless because it also like touched on issues that people weren't thinking about that we talk about all the time today, right? Like, again, Venus Extravaganza says, I want to be a rich white girl because they get what they want, right? Like, what, like in the 80s, she's saying, I want to be a rich white girl because they get what they want, and that's so that people weren't talking about on a broad basis, and now everyone's like talk about white women, or they talked about the idea of privilege and getting jobs and having education when that is accessible for people. And so it's so interesting to know that that's where like a lot of that comes from now, or that's what a lot of that comes from when we talk about today still. I also think the thing about Jenny Livingston and their people's like gripes with them, I understand. Like I understand why, because right, like she set out to do a film, and I think also again what makes it timeless is that it wasn't like meant to be a beautiful aesthetic thing. It was meant to be just like a truly, here's my video camera. I just want to record this shit and see what it is, right? Like I believe Jenny never set out to make this like a feature film for people to like consume. But I get that people that like she just said, hey, here's some release forms, here's $200, girl. Thank you for being a part of it, and like, like you have no rights now, right? I don't believe that Jenny did that knowing that it would then make $4 million after that point in time, right? Like truly, I'm positive she made that and was like, no one's gonna want to see this film because it's about trans folks and trans black folks and trans Latina folks. And then Miramax bought it and said, girl, we want to produce this shit,
right,
and pay you millions of dollars, right? And so yes, she got a cute check, and everybody else did not get that. Or I think at some point it was like she got like 50,000 that she split among 13 people, whereas she got much more money from that, and the recognition and notoriety, right, for her work. But and so and so I do get the frustrations, and I also am like, I mean, it's really like I doubt she would have ever thought it would have gone to that. And it's a great note of when you are making something right, like pay the people what they're worth and make sure that they have rights to it too.
Amen.
in case it goes viral, because these days you never know what can go viral. Like
so
what
real.
like a case study of saying like now if I make something, like now if I make something, if I have a feeling that it could be something big, right, I'll be like, no, girl, let me just make sure that if it goes big, you also are taken care of. I think the doc, I would want to see it if she did it. I mean, I don't think she would do it again, because Kiki Ball, because now right now also now. Back then, the ballroom scene was like, "Oh, you want to see us? Then like, please come in." The ball scene now is like, "Girl, you want to see us? You better pay us entrance fee.
Right.
You better pay it," and rightfully so.
Yep.
And so but I would love to see like an emphasis on the Kiki scene. Like the Kiki scene has not had a film about it yet. Oh, actually, no, I was supposed to lie, because there is a documentary.
It's called Kiki.
Yeah, it's called Kiki, right? So like, I want to see more of that. I know that Kiki kind of takes off where Paris Birding left off, but like I want to see more. I also want to see where Paris Birding was so focused on East Coast, but ballroom is expanding now into the West Coast, and
it's huge here, and I did not even know that.
Same, like LA has a huge scene now, where they're building a Kiki scene out here in San Diego. I'd love to see like something that talks about the global community ballroom and how it's now it is an international sensation. So like, what does that mean for us? And I think about the kids who don't want to be engaged. I think the queer babies know. I think the queer babies definitely know that things came before them and that they want to honor those things. I feel like I see that more than not. I think it is the folks who are not in our community that want to buy our shit and then be like, I don't know where it came from. And I think what's different now is that back then, in the time of the 80s, and I'm careful when saying this because I know how it might sound, but like back then we needed the white girl to make the film,
right,
for people to see us.
Yeah,
we don't need her now. Like we are far less interested in the white folks who don't understand us, because we actually don't need them to do what we want to do anymore. We have the capacity, we have the infrastructure, we have the people, we have the talent, we have the minds, we have we have the funding, we have the abilities to make what we want to make, and through our own lens. So I'd love to see, right, what it'd be like for someone to make a Paris, like Paris is Still Burning, from the lens of a Black queer creator, and from the lens of someone who exists in ballroom today. I think that's what I want to see more, and I want to see more of the Gen Alpha and Gen Z's get involved and and pay homage to that.
Yeah.
I'm curious to ask y'all, like, knowing that Black queer cinema is important, but also not huge, and knowing that a film like Paris is Burning, and I almost straight too far from talking other topics about Paris is Burning, but Paris is Burning is both beautiful as it is out of pain. And I'm curious of, like, what stories do you think Black queer cinema should tell now? Like, if there was a Paris is Still Burning, what would you want to see on that? Yeah. Because back then it was so different now.
Ooh, that's a good question, because I think if there was like another of that to see the light here, I would want to see more stories about love.
That's real.
And the dating aspect that comes with being queer, because I don't think a lot of people touch on that. I'm like, we can go about the categories and all that stuff, but what are the people behind all this? What does their lives look like? Point. I want that, because I think we get so caught up in entertainment, we forget about the humanity of people.
Yeah. Yes, I love that. Like, show me a whole feature that focuses on the lives of the people who are walking. Like, show me the lives of the judges. Like, but like the lives in the world, not just in the ballroom scene, but in the world. Who are they in the world? I love that.
I was to your point, I love that you mentioned that, because I was actually thinking about this before you even asked the question of, like, if we were to do something like this again, what's like, or even if we were to critique this film, what was missing. And yes, the love component, but I would even say too, like you only really saw, and please forgive me for not knowing the two names of the women, but we saw the relationship and the friendship that they had towards the end of the film, right? But we don't ever really get to know the true dynamics of these homes or of these spaces that folks are being kind of brought into. And so for me, that would be probably what I would truly want to know more about, like what what are these mothers doing to make space for folks to come into these homes? What are they truly like? Pandarvis and all that, they kind of allude to it, but we never really get to this idea of like, what is it? What is it like to be a part of this? Of this house. And so I think for me, that would be the thing I would really want to dive into, of like, what, how have people found life and love through the different, houses that they're in. How have they been able to find love for themselves? Because obviously right now, like, the film was very much, that was one of the biggest critiques that I gave when a couple of years ago, I was asked to write about the 20th, it was like the 20th anniversary of the film. I had wrote an article and I had said, I think the biggest thing for me was like, the struggle was the paper chase. Like, that was really what the film was about, was all of them just trying to survive. That was like, it was just showing survival. And I wanted, or I would have loved if we would have been able to delve into this film a little bit more about what is it beyond the capitalistic piece of drag, right? The capitalistic piece of the balls. If what are we really truly seeing about the people? And so I don't know. I just wish I knew them better. I do. I really wish I knew them better. I wish it didn't feel so like we were just getting chunks of people.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have been able, kind of like My House. And I want to shout out Elegant Spratton for his work that he did with My House, because I felt like that. I don't know if any of you've ever watched it or if you're familiar with it. It was on Fuse a couple of years ago. Elegance did a very good job, and that's the one thing I will say, like, outside of the other critiques that the world gave that show, Elegance was so good about making these people they were like full people. Like, he really made them full people, and it really just it really spoke to me in a very special way. So
I will say, I wonder how many hours of footage Jenny Livingston actually
that's
still
a good
has.
question.
Like,
right.
like, how much did she record? Like, what did she leave out in what she made? Because I really wonder if some of that footage is actually already there. And I'm like, Jenny, if you ever listen to this, I would encourage you to, like, really give people access to your entire archive.
Yeah.
And, like, see what else we can make out of that film. Like, maybe she did document the joys and the people's lives, and she just didn't put that in the actual film itself. Like,
or it was on the cutting room floor, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the whites, and that was the other thing too. I think the whites, they love a savior story, and so I think that's also part of probably what happened with the film. Is it was kind of this white, Miramax probably came, and again, I'm just making assumptions, right? Miramax probably came in and was like, "Oh, this white lady is giving these black people opportunities, so let's build a film around that."
That's one thing I don't like, is that not every story is traumatic. Not every story is negative. There is positivity there somewhere, and I would like to see more stories of joy and love and triumph. And I know that there is a dark side to life, but that's not all our stories.
Nope.
And I think that we need to start showing more of what is great, and showing people like we are a resilient people and a brilliant people, and we not only should be celebrated for our talents, but also for the people that we are and what we can do. And so I would like to see more of the positive of it shown.
Amen. I totally agree. I was gonna ask, so real quick before we go to our next break, I did want to ask. We've talked about categories, we've talked about all the fun of it. I want to know, Mayhem, Joho, you've mentioned this before. If you had to, if so, we're going back to 1988. Somebody from Pandarvis hits us and says, "Hey, come over here. You gonna walk. You gotta walk." Okay, and you're thinking, "Oh, I'm a walk. I gotta walk a category. I gotta put something together. What are you going to wear? What are you going to walk in?" So for me, I'm just gonna put this here. I'm gonna have some big ass shoulder pads. My mama would have had shoulder pads, because One thing about me, and there's a friend to the show who listens, my friend Daryl. We talk about shoulder pads, the house down boots all the time. That would have been me in the 80s. I would have always had like a big shoulder pad, and I would have had like a
Yes.
big, what do you call those things? Like an ascot
Oh
girl. Yes,
Oh
I
my
would have had an ascot and some big
yes.
ass shoulder pads. But what about y'all? What would you have worn as you walked the category?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's 80s, so yes,
Yes.
I need my shoulder pad. I still to this day,
You do so,
everything I
yes.
have
I
made,
love
I
shoulder
always
pad
have them
beach.
at a shoulder pad. Um,
That is
because
true.
that's my
That is true.
aesthetic. My aesthetic is very Dynasty. It's
T.
very Diane
Very
Carroll.
that.
It
Yes.
is
Yes.
very rich,
Mhm.
very yacht.
Regal. Very yacht. Yes,
Very
very
yacht.
yacht.
I
Very
live
yacht.
very yacht.
Mhm.
She is country
Yes.
club. She is doing all of that.
You are a white woman of color.
She is.
Yes, a white woman of color.
I scream.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to be walking. My category is going to be film realness. She's serving puss.
Yes.
And she is yeah, I'm going with the shoulder pads and I need big hair.
Big hair. Yes, you've got to
Yes.
have big hair.
I want big hair.
Yes, yes. We've got
With
to
a
have
bang.
big hair.
Ooh, with
I
a
want a bang.
bang.
Oh, man, I think my forehead's too big for a
Ooh,
bang.
with a bang, I live.
Yeah. What about you, Joho?
Not like what would I wear? I feel like I would love to do like I would do like I think I would thrive in like executive realness. Like I feel like I would just have like some sharp pantsuits.
Yes.
I would have like like a sitting silhouette, a cute like blazer and skirt, but giving you afro as well. So like she's professional in black. She's not trying to do like no Karen Bob. It'd be that, or I would do some what's that girl's that like not Farrah Fawcett, but like the girl, this woman like it's Bridget Bardot like curls like the
Yes, I could see that on
curls.
you.
Like
I could see that on
it
you.
would be either executive realness or I'll do a little sex siren, but I would always come I'll always come in like with like dom clothes, like Catwoman-esque. Give me a little whip. Give me just a little
Yes. I would have loved to put you in a
flogging.
gold lame dress, Joho, like a bodycon
Ooh.
gold lame dress
Oh,
with a little bit of glitter. Ooh, my God.
Mhm.
You would be
Chick
giving.
City.
You can't go wrong with gold lame.
You really can't. You really
Yeah,
can't. You really
need
can't.
that.
Especially on a gold skin tone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you have
on
your lower
on
notes
melanin,
are gold anyway.
on melanin period.
Yeah.
Gold always is good on us.
I love it for us. Look at us.
How
Look
you
at
doing?
us. Yes,
How you doing?
we are. One day we gonna walk those categories and we gonna make those dreams come true. But with that being said, parasocial girlies, we have to take another break. But when we get back, we are going to get into a segment about how we are continuing to love ourselves. We'll be back in just a sec.
Hey fam, we are Black and we are back. And this week we gonna stay in the vein of loving oneself and considering how beautiful Mayhem looks on and off the stage. I want to ask you both, what is your personal beauty manifesto?
Oh my gosh! Well,
and I'm asking y'all because I'm taking notes here. I want to know what's the tea? What's the routine?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Thank you for the compliment because I try to pride myself on making sure that in and out of drag, I am giving effort to both personas.
Good. I love that.
You know,
and you have to have that healthy balance.
Oh, yes.
I'm like, you can't just always be fabulous in your queenness. I'm like, my kingness needs to shine as well.
Amen.
So,
amen.
I think for me, my main thing is, I drink a lot of water. Hydration is key, and rest. I try to rest as much as I can. Treat myself. I love to treat myself.
Oh yes. One thing about me, yes, honey.
As you should.
I will go and spend the day at the beach and take myself to lunch and get my feet did, and I think it's very good if you take care of yourself. Your body's going to take care of you, and so I don't do anything else other than that, but some soap and water on my face and just go shine, honey.
Just go sign.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah,
John, how about you?
so I definitely want to make sure I give credit where credit is due. Someone had asked Bob, the drag queen, this question, and I thought it would be good to bring it over here, specifically again, because you're one of our favorite queens. And I think the question about a beauty manifesto is so important because the way Bob framed it, Bob being in his character, he basically said, um, when you're talking about a you kind of have to live up to this notion of both things are going to be work, right? And so either you're going to say yes, I'm going to give into this thing and that's the only thing I'm going to focus on, or you're just going to accept where you are. And I think that's kind
Mm,
of where I am with my beauty manifesto, right? Is this notion of being like, I can either accept the things that I can accept, or I'm going to change the things that I
Mm,
don't want to accept. And right now, a big part of my
mm,
journey is I'm just going to accept being fat. Like I just accept that my body's bigger and I don't have the energy or the capacity like I did 10 years ago to want to be in the gym all the time, to want to be starving myself, to want to be on a diet, to want to like, okay, like for those who do that, I'm not here to shame you or to knock you if it's not rooted
mm,
in fat phobia. That's fantastic. But as for me
mm,
and as for mine, I've accepted the way my body looks. I've accepted the way my body is going to be in this moment in my life.
mm,
And maybe one day it might change. Maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, something may hit me and I may have to say, okay, now I have to be super into I have to be careful
mm,
about everything I do with my body, right? But I think a big part of my beauty manifesto is this notion of just accepting my body where it is right now.
hmm.
You get a blemish on your face, you just got to work with the blemish on your face.
That's what it is.
Sometimes, one of my I call them my man boobies. One of my man boobies are bigger than the other. Sometimes it look weird in a shirt. I just had to learn to accept that. Sometimes I got to stand a certain type of way so my titties don't look weird in a photo, right? It's just real. It's like I think that's the big part of my journey is just really kind of really sitting with this notion of like I'm gonna do the things that make me feel good as a black fat femme, and the things that don't make
mm,
me feel good. If I don't have the tenacity to change it, it's just gonna be what it is, and that's it.
mm,
Like I think we got to get away from feeling. I think the biggest thing for me is like, and I think one thing we've really tried to do with this show is really just encourage people to not feel like they always have to be more than what they are. Like
Mm,
life puts so much angst on us all the time anyway to be more than what we are. And I'm just in a place now where I'm like, baby, it's okay for you to just be. And so that's a part of my
mm.
beauty manifesto. If I feel fat today, I'm just fat today. And if I want to lose weight tomorrow, I'll lose weight tomorrow. But other than that, right now, I'm good. That's where I'm at.
hmm. I like that. I do.
Mm-hmm.
I do. Because I'm the same way. I'm just like, instead of stressing myself on trying to be something or work towards something, I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna stress myself.
Mm,
I'm just going to live in the moment and
Mm-hmm.
the skin that I'm in right now and be happy.
Yeah.
If I want to make some adjustments, that is okay. If I don't want to, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just learning to be okay
Yeah.
with where I'm at and who I am
Yeah.
and just being happy with it.
Gotta be. Gotta be. What about you? Any
yeah,
thoughts?
like no one's in your body besides you, and so I've had a point where I'm like, I just don't care what everyone else thinks about my body, or like I'm no longer concerned about it. Like I'm the one that lives in it, so I'm the one that has to live with it and
Mm-hmm.
work with it and love on it regardless. You
Hmm.
know, yeah, I'm trying to think of like what is my manifesto. Like I mean, definitely. Yeah, first of all, wear sunscreen.
Amen.
Sunscreen's good for you. Even if
Oh
you don't
my
go,
God,
even if you
I
don't go
just
outside,
became a sunscreen girl.
if you don't go outside, sunscreen, get yourself some face lotion with some SPF. Call that a good damn day, girl. Like we all need that in our lives. Okay, we need that in our
Send me
lives.
some recommendations because
But
I
baby,
don't
I got you.
know.
I got you. I got you. Got you.
Black girl
Also
sunscreen is one.
learn your skin type. Are you an oily
Yeah.
girl? Are you a dry girl? Are you a combination girly? Like these things are important.
Mm-hmm.
Go to a Aveda, go to insert skincare place and find out what is you in the skin. I think also like I'm really into style and like people are like, oh Joe, like I like Joho, I love your fashion, you have such great fashion, where do you find your pieces? But like, and thank you, and I do, but it's about like what the style means for me. Like my style is a style that I know represents me. It's colorful, it's bold, like it's cute, it's flowy. Like what? So I really encourage folks to like think about what your style, how it actually represents you, right? Because
Amen.
it is a physical manifestation of what you give to the world. And so, like, think about what you want to give to the world. What does it look like for you? And if you love it, then fucking amazing. Like, there are other people who I'm sure who hate my style, and like that's fine because they're not the ones wearing the fits or buying the clothes. And trust me, if they
paying for it.
Right. Case in point, like if y'all buying the clothes, it'd be a different story, but you're not, so shut the fuck up.
Right.
But like, yeah, like just like figure out what feels best for you, and also like I will say to that point though, like learn your shape, learn what looks good on you, because like there is there's a skill or a finesse to this. Like you gotta learn what looks good on your body, what kind of body type you have for it, and know that it actually is possible to find the stuff for your body regardless, right? Like I think a lot about Samira, who is right now putting on blast all the brands that don't cater to big bodies, but what you also see is that she finds the clothes that do, and she wears the fuck out of them. Okay,
see, that's where I'm at. I used to be mad, but you know what I'm learning actually really works for me. Call me what you want. I am learning that I love a good tracksuit, like anything with a top and bottom match.
Bitch, a matching set.
I am sold. A good set.
The way
I love a set. I love a set.
It's easy. It looks good, but also it's easy.
Bitch, I just bought 3 of them. I said
people will be gad thinking like, bitch, like
I've learned.
Like you must have put so much time behind it. I'm like, no, girl, it's a set. That's why I got the set. Like
I'm learning that my thing is sets.
A set with patterns, bitch. You can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. Like,
no.
I love me a set as well. It's just like it doesn't work for you. I haven't got to try to buy matching shit. It sets, girl. What? Yes, I live.
And Amazon got them in my size too. That's the other thing.
Yes, they do.
Oh,
like,
Amazon.
Honey, I live. I go on frequently. I'm like, ooh, let me get this one.
Buy 3 of them in 3 different ways. Oh, that's so cute. Maybe it's the same set. It's just different colors. Yes.
Okay.
I'm here for it. I love it.
Yeah. I love this for us all. I love this for us, y'all. And I love that we all find ways to care for ourselves and like with our own beauty manifestos. But fam, we gotta take one more break. And when we get back, we gonna bounce our titties to y'all's favorite segment, Yes Ma'am and No Ma'am Hams. Back in just a sec.
All right, y'all. So we're going to go ahead and get into y'all's favorite segment, Yes Ma'am, No Ma'am Pam. Y'all know what this is. This is basically the segment where we either give people they roses or we slap them with them. And this week, this week, I don't really have, I'll say this, I think, and it's partly too, so I will say this because, this is a podcast of transparency. Me and Joho have been recording a lot very close to each other in these last couple of days because of our schedule. So a lot of like, you're going to hear last week, there's just a lot of them will be very, very close. And so maybe closely related in terms of our Yes Ma'ams and No Ma'am Pams. And that's why. But with that being said, I don't really have anything super deep. I did want to shout out my job. So we had a wellness center opening recently in the Inland Empire. If anyone wants some information about the wellness center, as you all know, I work for Rainbow Pride Youth Alliance, which is now being kind of rebranded into RPYA. It's a local Southern California organization. We have a youth wellness center that opened, and there were a whole bunch of people from all over Southern California who came out to support it. And so I just wanted to shout them out because they've been doing a lot of work to get that center up and going. It's really cool. At least for me, being a queer kid who is from the Southern IE area of California, to know now there's more LGBTQ spaces that are opening. We saw one open in Riverside recently. I know that Coachella just had one open on Thursday. Like there's all these different LGBTQ wellness centers that are opening up for queer kids. And it just makes me really happy to know that in a really red area of California, we're seeing more and more support for LGBTQ youth. So that makes me really happy. The other thing I wanted to shout out in terms of my Yes Ma'ams is barbecue chips. You can't go wrong with them. You just can't. They are the staple of Blackness. They're just good. Barbecue chips, they're good with everything. They're just tasty. Lay's, shout out to her. She's not the best, but she gives what needs to be given when it needs to be gave. And the reason why I said that is because I had a bag of Lay's before we started recording. It was a bag of barbecue chips. And I said, this is it. Mother gives what needs to be given when it's given. So shout out to barbecue chips for just holding my big ass down here and there. I really appreciate it. Now in terms of my No Man Pams for this week, I'm gonna go ahead and stay in my food bag. I have been trying to do the TikToks. I've been trying to stay up to date with the girls on the TikToks, and people, they have conversations about what's going viral and things on TikTok. And I saw the viral conversation about the chantilly cake over at Whole Foods. So I hopped in my NX 350H and I drove over to Brea. And I picked one up. I said, "Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and pick me one up, just to kind of see what it's giving." And y'all did a lot for nothing. I really want to say that's my no man Pam this week is a lot of y'all be doing a lot for nothing over these trends. Like that cake, the cake is cute, it's fluffy, but it's not my kind of cake. And I don't know, like maybe. You know what? So, and maybe I'm wrong, and we're in a space with. I feel like this is a safe space because we all Black. Can I just say, I wonder if the enjoyment of certain things is because of our race. Like, do you think? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, and I'm trying to say this without coming across offensive. I feel like white people get excited over certain things because it speaks to their taste. We've talked about this on the show, and I'm not trying to say that white people don't have taste, because my husband is a great cook and he's white. And he loves seasoning and he's really good. Like he gets it, right? But I'm saying, like, I wonder if people were really excited for the chantilly cake because it's basic and it's not super sweet. And it's not. No, I'm not trying to be messy. See, y'all putting words in my mouth.
Like crumble cookies.
Yes. You get where I'm going though?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if that probably, for me as a Black person who has had Black mothers and Black grandparents cook cakes, right? And I know what a cake should be. I'm wondering if it didn't move my spirit because I know what a good cake is. But I'm also a Costco cake girly too. So,
I think we all just have our pleasure. We all just have our pleasures.
Yeah.
And not every place has the pleasures for you.
Okay. That's fair.
I think that's it. A chantilly cake can be cute and it can be bad. Ambrosia can be cute, can be bad.
Yeah, if it got
potato salad can be cute and can be bad.
I made that mistake this Saturday. I went to a Southern restaurant and I got potato salad and I threw it away because it was nasty.
And not everyone has what you want or what you need, and they tell you they do, and you're like, girl, you are not the one to trust.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just saying. So I'm not saying that it wasn't good. I'm just saying that the hype was not there, and I don't understand the hype. And so I'm just saying, for any of you who are chasing the TikTok hypes and the TikTok trends, just be cautious that many of them are not worth the hype. So I just want to say that. But anyway, Mayhem, what are your yes ma'ams and your no ma'am Pams for this week?
Ooh, okay. My yes ma'am will be that summer has now tried to fuck off finally.
Good. Yes.
We're here in fall and it's starting to feel like it. The weather is no longer triple digits, so I'm very happy about that.
Amen.
I'm not sweating. I'm not dripping everywhere. I'm very happy I can open up the windows now and get a nice breeze.
Let it be in.
So that's my yes, ma'am. Thank you, Mother Nature, for blessing us finally.
Yes.
My no, ma'am, Pam, would be that we're in fall and everyone wants to bring out the pumpkin spice everything now. I'm not happy.
Oh, I feel attacked.
I'm not happy about it.
I feel attacked because y'all know how we are around these.
I'm a pumpkin spice, right? I have my pumpkin foam from my local coffee shop right here.
God, I feel attacked.
I can't. It just drives me nuts every time I walk into a store. It smells like fucking cinnamon and nutmeg. I hate it.
I can see Mayhem being like, yuck, get this out of here.
I walk out immediately. I'm like, I don't want what I came in here for. Yep. This is gross.
The Vons on Central. That Vons on Central always smells like vanilla and all of the, I get you. I feel you.
I don't want to feel like I'm standing inside of a pantry.
Yeah, I
I
feel
just
you. I
don't
feel
want
you.
it.
I feel you. Yeah, it's not for everybody. But I also saw
I feel
Joho over
that.
there sweet, and I almost got up this morning and went, and then I ran out of time because I laid in bed for too long. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that for myself tomorrow. I'm gonna get me a pumpkin spice
Okay.
tomorrow
I
from
love pumpkin
we have a
spice.
Clatch. I'm gonna name that. We just got a Clatch near us. So I'm gonna go ahead and
A
slide through there.
what?
Clatch
What's
is a
that?
coffee. Clatch is a very Inland Empire based coffee
Oh,
shop,
I was
and
like
where I
Clash.
currently live, the only thing we had were two Starbucks. And so in order,
Mm.
again, being that a lot of folks are saying stop going to Starbucks, I was happy to see that we got a Clatch down the street from where I live now.
Okay,
So
yes. Okay, word.
so I'm
Come
gonna go
on,
there in the
Flash.
morning.
Come
But
on,
yeah, what
Flash.
about you, Joho? What's your yes ma'ams and your no ma'am Pams?
So my yes, ma'am. I'll give us a lot of thought. I was trying to think of something, but I really just could not. I was like, I don't know. What's a yes today? This is you've caught me on a Monday that feels very, very, very bad. Not bad, but just like
It's a Monday. It's a Monday.
the Monday is Monday and hard, and
Yeah.
I'm like, this has not been the best day, or the the best week.
We love
But
you, baby.
let me just tell you my no man Pam, because I'm about to be a messy girl for a second.
Mm.
Why? Because I can.
I
So
like it.
last week I had mentioned about this person that I'm seeing who had said these things like, I can see myself falling for you, essentially, right? And and I had said how that I had said how that was a red flag, but like I was still trying to
So wait, I
communicate
want
with
to
them.
pause because it wasn't a red flag. You said it was a pink flag. So I want to make sure I make that
Drag
clear.
me, girl.
You
It was
said
a
it was
pink flag.
pink.
Thank you. Yes,
Okay.
yes. I said a pink flag because like I get what he was trying to say. That wasn't how I was thinking about him, and I was like, I appreciate you saying that. We don't have to go there yet, I didn't want to call it love bombing just yet. I was like, you know what, like maybe, like maybe there's something more here. So yes, it was a pink flag. So
What do you do, girl?
what I didn't say was, in that moment when that day where that had happened, there was someone else that I knew that was trying to get at him as well too, and I wasn't bothered by I wasn't bothered by it. I wasn't bothered by it because one, like, he was not my man. So it was like, the girls are gonna grow.
Wait,
And
pause. So is this person who was also trying to get with him a friend of yours?
Let's say associate.
Friendly.
I wouldn't say friend.
Friendly.
Associate. We are in a similar circle. We're not friends. We don't hang out with each other. We are a similar circle. And part of me was like,
I may have to the bullshit.
Part of me was like, girl, you knew, like, you definitely saw me with said person, but like whatever, Also, like, everyone's drinking. I'm not trying. Like, it's not that deep, right? But the guy that told me that he was that he could fall for me was like, I'm sorry to see that. That's not who I am. I wouldn't be that person at all. And that was disrespectful that that your associate would do that. And I was like, you know what? Like, heard, agreed, and also, like, at the end of the day, what matters to me more is what you do, because I'm trying to get with you. I'm not trying to get with him.
I'm not worried about that. Yeah.
But so, like, at the end of the day, you aren't my man. So, like, girl, like girls do, the girls know a girl. But I appreciate you saying that, right? Come to find out, this past weekend, guess who the associate is talking to? Guess when I happen to hustle the phone that associate's texting on, and I see the name, and I see the guy's name on there, and I was like, hey, friend, question, how did you meet this person? And they're like, oh, I met them at this place. And I was like, I know, because I introduced you. I introduced y'all at this place. And he was like, I don't remember
Fuck both
that.
of
And
them. Fuck both of them.
I said, okay. I don't know how you don't remember that, when, like, considering I had told you about him to begin with. Like, I told the whole group about him, but, like, okay, girl, I believe it. But really, what I'm getting at is, so y'all have hooked up and done stuff, and you may not know but like him and I have been going on dates. We haven't hooked up or anything, but like him and I have been going on dates. So I think you might want to know that that he isn't who he says he's being to you. And also, this man lied to my face by telling me I would never do that. That's not I'm not the kind of person. Which is fine. Like the other day, like girl, like that's fine. Like, but listen to this. It's a no man pan because we're just going on dates. Like I don't care what you do, who you do it with. That's not what I care about. Especially because I gave you several outs. Someone's like, listen, I know what I want, and I know what I want, and I'm going for it.
Yeah,
this is who I am. If you don't want that, you don't like that. That's okay with me. Let me know and say that shit. Each time he was like, no, you're amazing. No, I want to see where this goes. No, I want to know you more. Blah blah. I said okay, and you just told me to my face that you would not be the person to hook up with my associate. So why are you then hooking with my associate? You just lied to my face, girl.
People will show you who they are before you even.
And you better believe
and
them.
believe them the first fucking time.
Care if you a hoe, bitch. I don't care if you a hoe. That's really
just
okay
be
with me.
upfront with me about your whole age.
But let me know and don't lie to me about it. Because now I have to ruin 2 lives. Like now I have to go. and end 2 careers. Yeah. Now I have to go. Yeah. And bury 2 bodies.
Yeah.
Now my crazy got to come out. Yeah. Because you wanted to act up.
Like I gave you so many chances.
I gave you out.
Keep it classy and demure.
Yeah.
And now you had to poke the bear. Like now I'm like, girl, like all you do, you ain't got a lot to kick it, girl. Like I truly would not have cared. It was the principle that this person hooked up with my associate after telling me that they would not do that, and was like, I'm not the kind of person. Girl, you are.
Yeah, but I will say this. Can I say this? Not to cut you off, sis.
Go ahead.
What I'm learning, and this is something that I think in my big age I'm having to learn, and I appreciate when people do it to me sooner than later, because it really helps me feel like I'm happy that this so I'll say, let me say it this way. It's fucked up that it happened this way, and I'm not happy about it that way in that sense. What I am happy about is that I'm glad it happened now versus you being in a relationship with this person for 3 or 4 years down the line and learning that they've been fucking your friend.
Agreed.
You know?
Agreed.
So
like, yeah, no, 20 agree. And like, you know, the associate, like he was gagged. He was shook as fuck. He was gagged. Like I knew that he felt so embarrassed and so bad. And like he kept asking like, "Are you mad at me? Are you mad at me?" And I was like, "Girl, like I truly could not care less what you do. Like I do not care what you do, girl. Like it's your body, your choice. Like and I'm not gonna let some dude like cloud that judgment for me. I think you're being dumb for sure, but like, my issue is with him for lying, but like." But also like thank you for confirming, because all it does is give me information that I need to know that like this isn't for me, and that's also Gucci.
Yeah.
But like, and part of me was like, do I bring this up as I know, man, Pam? But I am because I could be so much fucking worse. I could literally. I could go to this man's house. I could put him on blast. I could post his picture on Instagram. Like I could be doing so many things. I was like, you are lucky that I'm gonna just leave it here in my podcast. Dude, I'm gonna leave it here. I'm my no man.
And we're not gonna name no names,
right? I'm not right. I'm still keeping it classy, still keeping it cute. I'm not naming names. I'm not saying where I know associate from. I'm not saying where I was. Like I'm keeping it really, really vague here. Okay, so if this person ever hears this, just know I have something for that ass real quick. you gonna catch some strays as some smoke for me. Okay,
as you should, honey.
I am doing you a service right now.
Amen.
Leaving it here and not at your doorstep, because that is where in my years of my family life, y'all, we are the people that will go on someone's doorstep. And I said, not today, girl, not today, because at the end of the day, ain't no man worth my peace like that.
And I want us as a collective queer people to learn that, like, your peace should not be determined by a man. Like we
Period.
really got to get away from this notion of feeling like you've got to create hell around yourself just because you want to stay in a relationship or find a relationship. And maybe one day we'll
Absolutely
do a
not.
show about that. I don't know, but
Mhm.
I was just gonna say, like, I do appreciate you naming that. Yeah. And it also shows too how quickly people can change. And right,
Mhm.
we went from one episode on one day being like, oh, this might be a good
Right,
thing, and then we
right.
record a few days later, and now we're here. And so
But how quickly the
the
turnstable,
tides,
like,
they
girl,
turn.
just wow,
Tables
wow.
just be wick, wick, wicky,
Wow.
wick, wick. Tables will turn, honey. Tables will turn. But with that being said, I hope I hope the person who did that to you has both of them actually, because they're both shady. I hope that they
Yeah.
have the day that they deserve. And what I mean by
I'm
that
saying,
is
I'm
literally just
saying.
knowing that karma will come for that ass. But with that being
It
said,
does.
what goes around comes around. What goes? I have to stop before we get in trouble because we're not supposed to be singing copyrighted music. But anyway, all that to be said, please send your thoughts, feedback, and email to black.fat.femme@gmail.com. You can click the link in our description box and shoot us an email if you have thoughts about what has been shared. Anything in the show, we love to hear from y'all, even if it's just a hello. We love you. We definitely appreciate getting your mail. If not, you can send us a quick message by interacting with our social media on you can send your thoughts by interacting with our social media by going over to Instagram and Twitter and using the handle Black.Fat.Femme Pod. You can also head down to the YouTubes and watch this episode. It's free to the mind's eye.
Okay.
All you got to do is just click the subscribe box while you're there. It just shows that you love us down the house down boots. With that being said, Mayhem, anything you want to promote or tell the dolls? How can they find you, honey?
Oh my gosh, you can find me everywhere on social media at The Only Mayhem. You could catch me almost every day of the week doing shows here in Southern California, from LA to Palm Springs to Long Beach to San Diego to Riverside.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
She is all over the place. So come
Mm-hmm.
and check me out. And she's still single, so hey, if
It's
you
cuffing
want to
season.
shoot your shot,
Yeah,
come
it's
on.
Okay.
cuffing season. Come on
Well,
down
I know
here.
someone who is not for you, Mayhem.
Yeah.
So let me tell you that right now.
We know people who are not for you, for both of y'all. Yes. So please stay your black ass away. Please go away. Stay away. But with that being said, my lovely Joho, my queen, where can the dolls find you?
As usual, y'all can find me usually peaceful on my socials on Joho Daniels across all socials. If not there, JohnDaniels.com. And if not there, you will find me ready to enter my villain era for sure now.
I know that's
Because
right.
people have told me that I've been a villain and I have not been, but now I'm ready. Now I am ready to fucking Ursula this bitch, Jafar this hoe, Scar this bitch. Like let me, I'm ready for it. So you'll catch villain Joho soon.
Yeah, I love that journey for you, Joho, because I think sometimes you just got So this is the thing. I always think about this. I think about Left Eye, and really thinking about, like, people always say, "Oh, Left Eye should have never burned that man's house down," but nobody ever talks about what that man did to Left Eye to make her burn the house down.
Listen, right? Like I am tired of people who advocate for themselves being seen as
Right.
villains.
Yeah,
Like
you
when does
pushed her to
self-advocacy
burn your
become
house
villainy?
down.
I'm just saying, like, y'all, I am actually tired of taking bullshit.
Right.
And so
Right.
when I respond, don't be surprised when you catch the straight.
And
Like,
I'm not
that's
advocating you to burn anybody's house down, because I don't want you
Period.
going to jail. But I'm just saying,
No-
nobody said, well, what did that man do to Left Eye to make her
Okay.
want to grab some matches and some lighter fluid? No one ever asked that question. So I'm just saying, yeah, y'all got to be more cautious about how you treat people. It's tough out here. It's real tough out here. And people are already on the
when
edge.
you treat people bad,
Yes.
and they react to it, and you don't like it.
Yeah.
As you say, John, when you do clown shit and clown shit
The
happens to
clown
you,
always comes back to
don't be.
bite.
Well, I know why you gagging. I give it to you every ball.
Yes.
Like, why you gotta-
Why you gagged? You brought this on yourself. You brought it on yourself. You brought it on yourself. But anyway, as for me and my household, you can find me down to www.DoctorJonPaul.com, as well as all around all of the socials using Dr. John Paul as a handle. You can also catch me back on my freelance hustle. I have been asked to do a couple more things. But what I will say is that you will catch me on the abolishment of the freelance train of the Net 30. I personally think net 30 is the
Period.
devil. It is
is.
the craft of the man. And I definitely think we need to come down with it. So if y'all want to get on board and you want to start something for the down of the net 30, I'm definitely here for it. Also, to my California girlies, this is just a reminder. We have until if you are planning to vote via mail, you have up to the 21st to make sure that your stuff is post dated before that. So if you've got your ballots in your hands, you need to make sure that they are in the mailbox by the 21st of October. So when you hear this, will it be late? Will it be too late? Because what? Oh yeah, actually no, it won't be. Well,
No, it won't be. It won't.
Will it?
It'll be tight on time. It'll be tight on time because
you'll be tight on time. Yeah,
because
but
they have until when again?
Until the 21st. But what I will say is if you're voting early, you have until if you're voting early, I think you have until November 4th. I think if you're voting early. So anyway, this is just my way of saying, and I said I'm going to use my platform to do this. Make sure you vote. And what I will be saying is for our next episode, I know some of you have asked us if we were going to be doing anything around the California props. And so what we'll go ahead and be doing is we'll do a full show next week. But the second part of the show, we're going to be talking through a lot of the California props.
It'll be right in time for election day.
Yeah, for election day. So that is what we will be focusing on for next week. So I just wanted to put that out there because that has been some of the questions that listeners have asked us about in regards to that. So just letting you know that y'all gonna get some fun entertainment stuff from us, but you're always gonna get a little bit of knowledge too, and we want to make sure that we're acknowledging that. I also want to say real quick too before I get off the mic, whoever told me to watch Mr. Crockett on Hulu, fuck you. That movie was terrible. Somebody said, oh, you should watch Mr. Crockett. I know that I'm probably doing myself a disservice because I would love to work for Hulu one day, but that movie was trash. And so I just want to say, too, that if y'all are looking for a Halloween movie, don't watch that movie. Watch something else. It's terrible. It's absolutely just, it's bad. And I don't normally shit on Black content, but that film was awful. So I just wanted to put that out there as well. I should have probably said that in my No Man Pam, but here we are. Anyway, all that to be said, thank you, everybody, down to iHeartMedia for helping us. Bei Wang, our wonderful executive producer. Thank you for handling all the logistics and helping us get Mayhem here. Round of applause. Thank you, Mayhem, for coming and being back on our show. We also want to say thank you to everybody who continues to help keep this show up and running. And then I also want to shout out our wonderful editor, Chris Rogers, who has been putting in work these last couple of weeks because, honey, it has been hard between my cough and between our timing and just a whole bunch of stuff going on, child. They have really turned up a lot of magic. So we are always so grateful for you, Chris Rogers, and the work that you do. This has been another show. Everybody stay what? Black, fat, femme, and fabulous. And remember, it ain't what they call you, it's what you answer to. I love us for real. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.